What do you think is more dangerous to the country, drag or guns?
Drag for sure.
How come?
It's poisoning the youth. That's what's going to run our country. It's scary. But guns is my right. I know how to handle them. I've taken training. I've raised my kids. Guns are our primary. It's our right, our Second Amendment right that I refuse to give up, and many of our people refuse to give up.
Not even just talking about. I'm just talking about the danger. You talked about how it's poisoning our kids.
From law-abiding citizens, and the thugs and the criminals are still going to have their guns. I want to be able to protect myself from a thug or a criminal. I want to protect, if I'm in a school visiting my grandkids and there's a shooting, I want to be able to pull out and stop.
But you just said it. If there's a school shooting, as far as I can tell, people haven't died from drag, and that's why I asked the question.
Look at the transvestite that went in and did the school shooting. Come on, it's a mental health. It's mental health, is what it is. The mental health, and the books that are in our schools. So many things have got to change in our country, and Trump is making the change, and he's my president, and Biden, he don't even acknowledge in my brain as president.
What's a bigger problem for America, do you think, drag or guns?
Drag.
And why is that?
I would not want my kids to be anywhere around drag.
But what about guns and people buying them, and assault weapons and all the death it causes versus drag, which, let's face it, not a lot of people die from drag?
Well, then I think that's how people get mentally ill with all the drag stuff that's going on. Weapons are not going to walk out of the house and kill people. People do it.
So following that logic, drag would make people sort of sick in the head and lead them to get a gun and do something.
I believe so, yes.
I believe that people should express themselves how they want, but in the privacy of their own homes. I don't believe that they should push it on to people. And for the question about guns, I believe that we should kind of stick to the Second Amendment.
I feel like putting the wrong thing on kids, especially how they're doing it nowadays, how they put it out as, it's an option, and then they really say like this is how you're supposed to be, rather than whether it's like, well, you can fall into this category and be this kind of person. It's kind of crazy now how they're pushing it on them, rather than just putting it out there as like, you can act this way if you want to.
You can really see the cogs turning and churning as these two realize that they're the bad guys.
And you go to school every day. Would you feel safer if a drag queen walked in to read a book, or if you knew that somebody had a gun in your school?
Well, I think because I go to a private school, so we have a Marine there, ex-Marine that carries a gun, and we have safety precautions. So I would say someone with a gun, I would feel safer because they are protecting the children in the school, and it would be less likely for a shooter to happen there.
Hide your kids, hide your wife, hide everybody, because drag is taking everybody out.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just wondering if the chair of the subcommittee would yield to a question. Can you tell me on the drag show that was funded in Ecuador, how much was that?
I have it here.
Sure.
It's actually even on the webpage. It wasn't a lot of money, but it was a drag show. As a matter of fact, if you'd like, I'd just give you this document.
No, I'm just asking you, and I don't want to use all my time up. If you could just answer the question, I'd appreciate it.
I believe that one in Ecuador, was $20,000.
For one drag show?
I don't know if it was one or multiple, but I have it here and I can share it with you.
Because I think it was for 13 drag shows, and it was for 2 workshops, and it was for a 2-minute video for $21,000. So probably under $1,000 for a drag show if it was funded that way, correct?
Here it is.
Yeah, but does that sound reasonable, what I just said?
Again, I have it here. I haven't looked at this document in detail in a little while, but it is all here. It's also on the internet. Again, I'm not sure how funding drag shows abroad helps our national security interests.
Sure.
Which is what we're discussing. And remember, I brought that up, sir, because I heard that they were not doing it. Here it is.
Sure, I'm going to take back my time. And just one more question. Was that rescinded by any chance, that grant?
This may have been pulled.
Wait. So we didn't spend $21,000 on 13 drag shows, 2 workshops, and a 2-minute video. So $1,000 on
So
the
that's
drag
why
show
you
brought
should
up.
not be upset that we're not funding drag shows. If they're not doing it, why is it a big deal to not fund it?
All right,
And if
thank
they're
you.
doing
I'll
it,
yield back
let's
my
not
time.
fund
I'll
it.
take back my time. So this is interesting. So you're worried about a grant that never occurred, which you could have told us up front. No, it was rescinded. It was rescinded. So anyway, the pride flags that you're so passionate about cost somewhere between, if you look online, $25 to $40. We are micromanaging, pedantically dealing with this budget at such a small level in order to make certain people in your base happy and in your caucus happy who've built a brand around hate. So in doing so, you're doing the silliness of determining whether $25 flags can come out of the appropriations budget. That is pedantic and crazy, quite honestly, that's what we're debating. We have a drought, genocide, child labor, child marriage, disease, famine, malnutrition, droughts, all sorts of things that we could be dealing with. And what we are dealing with is talking about a $25 flag or a rescinded grant. Now, let's just be honest among friends that this isn't for appropriations purposes. We're doing this because you're desperate to get the votes together, and you've got some folks who need this sort of stuff who are still not going to vote for it, by the way. I'm willing to bet any of you on whether or not we get the 12 bills done, by the way, through the floor completely. But let's just admit what we're doing. A rescinded grant, that would have been good information to share during your remarks. And a $25 flag is hardly the level that we should be debating here in the Appropriations Committee. And just for the record, in World War II, there was a show called This Is the Army. 113 performances on Broadway, raised $45,000 the first night for the Army Relief Fund, $10 million overall with, guess what? Soldiers in Drag. And then they did a movie on this called This Is the Army, and guess who starred in it? Wait for it. Your friend, mine, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan was in the movie This Is the Army about the soldiers doing drag that raised $10 million for the Army Relief Fund. By the way, the highest grossing movie at the time, 3 times what Wizard of Oz had gotten at that point. Now, so for all the worries about, I think you said, the focus on foreign threats that we're dealing with, a pride flag is not a foreign threat. A drag show is not a foreign threat. Ronald Reagan is not a foreign threat. But having this kind of rhetoric on the floor so you can get people who want to pander and fundraise to certain aspects of your base is a threat to this democracy. So I just want to put it out there. I didn't plan on debating, but every time you put this stupid crap up that has nothing to do with appropriations, I'm going to stand up and say something.
And listen, this is nothing new. We've talked about this many times. You know, there are hundreds of millions of guns in the country, right? More than there are people, literally. 330-some million people, like 400+ million guns. You have to try relatively hard to find a drag show. You really do. You know, like I live up here in New York area. Even if you live in California, you still have to go online and type in, where are the drag shows this weekend? Are there any Tuesday night, Wednesday night drag? Ain't nobody children gonna be at these shows unless you bring them. You know, like if you don't bring your kids to these shows, they're probably not gonna get there. I mean, what are they gonna like just leave the house and hop and a skip to the drag show? Are they going to take the bus? Are they going to call an Uber? You know, why would they even be let in? Especially if it's some nighttime show. Like, you know, these things aren't happening on any type of a grand scale to where people need to be up in arms about it. It's just not a reality. But it's always silly to